a little bit more about how this has affected you in your life now and what you're up to.
Yeah.
So, first question, what are you up to these days?
So I just finished a fellowship at the County of San Mateo. I was doing a lot of community outreach and engagement projects for the county manager's office, specifically working mostly with Latino communities and figuring out ways that local government can be more inclusive to Latino population, to immigrant population, which has been a really, really exciting experience for me. But I've recently finished up that job and will be starting at Mills College next year to start a Master's in Public Policy program, which is something I've wanted to do for a long time.
That's awesome. Do you have a particular project or anything lined up for that, or?
Not yet. So I'm trying to go at it with an open mind and see what happens.
Yeah. So do you think that being a part of the Mixed Student Union and the Alumni Association has had an effect on the way that you think about public policy or other aspects of your life since graduating?
Definitely. I think maybe not so much multiracial identity in specifically, but definitely as a woman of color, I do feel like women of color are very underrepresented in government and policy and politics in general. And that's something that I'm really passionate about in getting more women and women of color into government and providing more support to them, because I really want to see women of color going further in politics. And I think for me, I've learned that, the need for support never ends. And I think looking back, I now realize how fortunate I was to go to a school like UCLA that is so diverse and where I had, a community that I could rely on. And that doesn't always exist after you graduate. And so I'm really fortunate that, I've been able to create the Alumni Association to stay connected and still have those resources. But it's definitely, I think wherever I go in life, it's helped me to identify the missing pieces that, we still have a lot more work to do.
Do you think that you're understanding, you're talking a lot about the importance of representing women of color in politics. So do you think that your understanding of multiracial heritage or mixedness or multicultural heritage has changed since working with MSU and now getting into the political sphere?
My understanding of my multiracial identity
or of mixedness generally, how do you see it playing out in your life or in politics, or does it mostly come with that whole idea of just being a woman of color?
Yeah, I think, when I'm at work or in more of a government setting, I tend to not bring it up as much. I don't know, I feel like diversity in general is just not really talked about, which is, it's unfortunate for me. And I feel like it's something to overcome. First is just kind of getting the idea of talking about race, talking about diversity, as a step one before I can really bring in that extra layer of multiracial identity and multi-ethnic identity. So, I think sometimes it depends on the context. I feel like in a lot of ways, in government, we still talk about race and diversity in monoracial terms. And so, I don't know, I feel like that is just progress that's going to come slowly, but I hope that in the future it is talked about more. And I'm really curious to see, we have an upcoming census and how that will shape out, and how things changed since the last one. And it is refreshing to see, there are different politicians out there who are starting to bring that identity to light, like Kamala Harris, for example, is a great example of that. So we'll see. I think Hopefully that will come, but I feel like it'll be slow progress to get there.
Yeah, yeah. If anything, it sounds like maybe you at least have some practice with talking about race
Yeah,
and talking about
definitely.
some of those hard issues.
Definitely.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wish more people asked you about with regards to your work at the Mixed Student Union or the Alumni Association, or about your multiracial identity?
Yeah. Sure. Not sure how to answer that one. Yeah. No. I think I really appreciate when people ask me questions that keep me on my toes and that challenge me. I think something that I hear a lot is, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's your long-term goals? And that's definitely something that I want to keep thinking about. I think for me, representation and inclusion is really important, but there are tangible things that I want to get done. For example, at UCLA, I think it's really frustrating to me that you cannot declare an ethnic studies major. I was always really interested in that, but at UCLA, it's really divided into African American studies, Asian American studies, Chicano studies, etc. And you still have to pick one. So just little things like that. I would love to see, like, maybe UCLA has the first multiracial studies, minor or something like that. Little victories like that I would love to see happen in the future. So something I definitely want to keep thinking about and working towards.
Great. Okay, so thank you so much, Jenifer. That was wonderful, and thank you for sharing your story with us and your experiences with us.
Thanks so much. And if anyone wants to learn more about Mixed Student Union, you can find us, or the Mixed Alumni Association, you can find us on Facebook at Mixed Alumni, so UCLA Mixed Alumni Association at Facebook.
Great. Thanks all.
Thanks.
I feel the train a-coming, I hear the whistle blowing loud, it's calling out my name, rumble in the ground, I swear it sounds a lot like